Hello and a very warm welcome to NTV Property Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the online marketplace has so much to offer, inclusive of accommodation. For many of us who may be traveling and want to still have that home feeling and may not necessarily get it from a hotel. We're talking about Airbnb and other online sites where accommodation is found. We'll tell you just how it works in not too long, but here is the Property of the Week segment. Located along Mombasa Road, just 25 kilometers out of Nairobi CBD, is Crystal Rivers Mall and Residences. Set on 25 acres, the development comprises of what will be a retail mall of 200,000 square feet, residential houses of 3 and 4 bedroom townhouses and 3 bedroom apartments, as well as an upcoming community center and kindergarten. The Crystal Rivers experience provides a community lifestyle of fun and comfort. The 3-bedroom townhouse is complete and gives you the comfort of owning a home right at the edge of the city. Phase 1 of the 3-bedroom townhouses comprise of 56 units, adjacent to the 4-bedroom units, which will be 82. In total, Phase 1 will have 138 units. The Cabro-paved carport can comfortably fit 2 cars. A solid wooden door opens up to the stylish living room that exudes comfort and ambience. The simple and minimalistic look offers both style and functionality, allowing one to display wall paintings, photo frames, among other home accessories, and not necessarily crowd the space. The living area flows to the dining room, with both spaces stylishly lit with full and half moonlight fixtures. A pass-through window characterizes the dining room, and right above it are MDF cabinets for storage and display of accessories. Right at the corner is the guest cloakroom with ceramic tiles on both walls and floors. A pedestal wash sink is on the outside and can be used by guests just before they dine. The corridor leading to the kitchen has a decorative storage area beneath the staircase. Here you can display accessories or even books, depending on what is preferred. The kitchen has MDF cabinets for storage of items as well as granite countertops, making it easy for cutting. There is provision for a 6-cooker burner, and ample sockets adorn the walls. A double wash sink is strategically placed at the corner of the kitchen and gives enough room for washing and rinsing. Safety has been considered in the kitchen, with a fire blanket right next to where the gas cooker will be in case of a fire. A door from the kitchen leads to the laundry area, which is adjacent to the self-contained DSQ. Up the staircase is the balcony. It has been strategically placed to allow extra sitting space where you can place your outdoor furniture for those sunny afternoons or for cozy evenings with friends and family. At the corridor of the staircase is a decorative corner that can be used as a study or work area. The first bedroom can be used as a children's room, allowing you to play around with the lighting fixtures or wallpaper on the walls as preferred. The MDF laminate wardrobes have enough storage space as well as a dressing mirror. Ceramic tiles in the bathroom interlace perfectly, matching with the wall tiles. A shower cubicle is fitted with steel fixtures adorning the walls. The second room is similar to the first but slightly bigger, allowing more space to play around with while accessorizing. A galore of wardrobes set the tone in the master bedroom. The dressing mirror is in place, and at the corner is a side table that can be used to display jewelry or a laptop area. The bathroom is spacious with ceramic tiles and steel fixtures. Other features, including a shower cubicle, are yet to be fitted. Water is supplied by Mavoko Water Supply. There are also 3 boreholes supplying water for the entire development. Construction at Crystal Rivers is set to be completed by early 2018. The 3-bedroom townhouse is priced at 13.5 million shillings. You can easily beautify your backyard by putting garden ponds, but there's so much you need to know and understand in terms of maintenance and another host of issues. We tell you all about that in our Property Essential segment. If your garden or backyard is a common place for you and your family to gather, why not dress it up a bit with a custom-made pond? Garden ponds can range from simple habitats to complex environments. They are huge projects that require a significant amount of planning and maintenance. If you consider installing a backyard pond, weigh the pros and cons before you dig to ensure that it's the right feature for both your yard and your lifestyle. Garden ponds can be a key selling point. If you're in the process of selling your home, be sure to point out the garden pond to your real estate agent. Appraisers can increase the value of your home if they find exterior features that enhance the home's appeal. The most obvious benefit of a pond is the visual aesthetic it provides. Garden ponds are picturesque and splendid to your backyard. In one piece, your yard will turn from ordinary to extraordinary. You can dress up your pond by planting flowers or bushes, but it's not necessary. Ponds are very appealing all on their own. If your garden or backyard is commonplace for you and your family to gather, why not dress it up a bit with a custom-made pond? Garden ponds can range from simple habitats to complex environments. They are huge projects that require a significant amount of planning and maintenance. If you consider installing a backyard pond, weigh the pros and cons before you dig to ensure that it's the right feature for both your yard and your lifestyle. A pond instantly adds interest to the landscape, particularly when it includes colorful fish and plants. Additional features such as waterfalls, statues, or rock borders can be eye-catching as well. A pond that is lit with underwater lighting also can add visual interest at night. It also provides an atmosphere of relaxation while encouraging interaction and entertaining. The sounds of a backyard pond are soothing and can create a peaceful atmosphere for a family gathering outdoors. In addition, ponds are a rich habitat for a wide range of creatures, and watching as various creatures such as frogs grow and transform can inspire children and older individuals to find out more about the world around them. A garden pond can also help to create a beneficial conservation area right in your landscape. It also can ensure you have a store of water in case of emergency, and it can remedy soggy spots or rain runoff in your backyard. The moisture provided by a pond can be beneficial to nearby plants by maintaining soil moisture during the hottest days. Local building codes may have restrictions in regard to maximum pond depths and whether or not fencing or barriers are necessary to ensure the safety of children and animals around a pond. These necessary safety precautions can add to a pond's cost, and safeguards such as fences must be in good repair at all times. In many regions, homeowners also must obtain a permit prior to installing a pond, and the process may require a professional inspection of the site to make sure it has no underground utility wires and that it is appropriate for a pond. These inspections may be billed to the homeowner. A garden pond also can be a huge energy drain depending on the size of the pond, its pump and filtration system. If you install a waterfall or another feature that requires a pump that provides more than basic water circulation requirements, then that pump adds to the energy used for the pond. A major disadvantage of a garden pond is the significant maintenance it requires. A pond requires constant cleanup to ensure that plant debris from nearby trees and shrubs doesn't contaminate the pond water. To prevent chemical pesticides and fertilizers from harming pond fish and aquatic plants. Garden pond deter pests such as mosquitoes, require regular inspection, cleaning and repair. Although the amount of maintenance required depends on a pond size and contents, a pond typically requires far more work than a garden backyard that doesn't include a pond. Many people want a garden pond to keep ornamental fish. The fish animate the scene and bring the garden to life, quite literally. But there is more to introducing fish into a garden than setting them free inside your completed pond. So, next week, we will look at the proper selection and care of pond fish. We still have so much lined up for you, but for now, we take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. There are several online community marketplaces used to connect people wanting to rent their homes with those looking for accommodation. Now, how this works is that there is a host and a traveler. Now, the host lists out their properties while the traveler is the one looking for these accommodations. Now, this is a community trend that is really working in the Western world, now being embraced here in Kenya. With us is Emmanuel Mutsune. He is in that business as a regular businessman in terms of online sites. It's great to have you with us, Emmanuel. So tell us, how do these online sites work?
For Airbnb, I've used it both as a host and as a traveler. So as a traveler, you create a profile and you look for something that you have options of your price range. And the style of accommodation you'd like. So, if you're more comfortable staying in a place where you just be by yourself, or if you're okay with sharing, you have those options. Actually, it's a bit cheaper than a hotel. And another advantage to that is that if you're traveling in a new place you've never been to, you get to interact with local people as well. There's also booking.com, hostelworld.com, and a bunch of others as well.
So as a host, how do you get to list out your property? Can anyone actually list out their properties, or how does it work?
You create a profile, and then when you want to list your property, say with some of the sites, what they'll do is there's a verification process. So they have to find out if it's really you, if you're a real person listing this thing, and then the place that you're listing, the pictures and the description, if they actually match what is really on the ground.
For how long have you been in this industry so far?
About 2 years now.
And how's the response, being that it is quite new in the Kenyan market, yet in the Western world, it's totally embraced?
Yeah, in Kenya, I've noticed, I mean, people are...
They take time, eh?
Yeah, some people are kind of skeptical about the whole idea because, I mean, here people are, they're used to, you know, hosting a relative or a friend or a friend of a friend. But, you know, if you bring up the idea of hosting somebody who they don't have any direct connection to, a lot of times people are a little bit skeptical about that. They're worried like, oh, what if this person is a murderer? What if they come and steal my stuff? Or what if they, you know...
And have there been cases like these ones where people have actually had, you know, horror stories through such kind of sites coming in, people coming into their homes? Have you experienced any of these stories?
I personally haven't experienced anything like that, but the one thing I heard of, it wasn't even in Kenya, it was, I think it happened somewhere in Canada where, you know, somebody rented a place out and then they had a big party, you know, like invited so many people and they trashed the house. So, but then that became a legal issue and they were fined and, you know, they were charged and they had to pay up for that. So.
Right. So in case that happens even here in Kenya, are there legal restrictions or implications that may occur?
So not with the Airbnb in particular, they have, you deal with the website. So I think their head office is in Ireland. So if something like that was to happen, you know, like they would be the arbitrator in that case. You know, you'd say what happened, you know, with a particular guest. Also, what happens with, you know, everybody creates a profile. So, and it's also based on ratings and reviews, right? So if, let's say somebody was at your house and, you know, like they did some of those things, you know, and you make a note of that on their profile, it's going to affect them in future anytime they want to use the site, you know, because people will see like, oh, this person went to this person's house and they did all these things. So they wouldn't want to host somebody like that.
So as a traveler or a guest, are there specifications in terms of probably what kind of home I'd like to go into? So when I go online, what are the steps that I need to go through as a traveler?
Yeah, I think it's listed on the site what kind of accommodation it is. So you know from the beginning if it's a shared accommodation or if it's just going to be you living there, if the owner is there at the same time as you'd be staying there. So those things are you already know those things beforehand. So in most cases, obviously, like if you're sharing, the accommodation will be cheaper than if you just want, you know, like the whole place to yourself. Usually that's how it works.
You mentioned earlier that it's a cheaper option rather than booking a hotel. How much cheaper is it?
As a host, you're able to see what other hosts in your area are charging. And so you can kind of use that as, yeah, you can kind of use that as a guideline to determine the price. So, but yeah, as a traveler, you know, it gives you that option of, you know, like you're able to have this accommodation. You're able to even choose the area where you want to stay. And, you know, you also have that flexibility where in some cases, you know, you have access to a kitchen, you can make your own food. And, you know, if you're traveling, that's a big saving.
Are there payment options or is it dependent on the host? And the second question would be, what if I come in as a traveler or a guest and I really don't think that what I saw online is what I'm seeing in real life? Can I opt out?
Yeah, you can opt out. With Airbnb, what happens is that when you make the booking, you pay right when you make the booking. So I think if you showed up at the property and it seemed like it's not exactly what you want, then you contact Airbnb and then they would help you to resolve that issue. With some of the other sites like booking.com, you know, there are those arrangements where you can pay ahead of time. You make arrangements with the person, pay ahead of time, a deposit, or, you know, the person can just show up and, you know, and pay when they get there, if they're happy with what they see.
Is it a challenging industry for you? It's been 2 years.
A lot of Kenyans are still very new to this idea, you know, of I mean, even some of the young guys I know, you know, that whole idea of, you know, sharing your place with somebody you don't know, it just seems like a very foreign concept to a lot of people. But I think, you know, Nairobi is not the cheapest city. Accommodation here is, you know, it's not cheap. So I think, just like the West, I think, you know, we're heading that direction because some people, a lot more people nowadays, you know, they've kind of used these services and it's not that strange to them. And also with there being like not as much options available for accommodation, I think in the near future you'll be seeing more of this.
All right, great conversation there. A trend that is fast catching here in Nairobi and its environs. Airbnb and other online booking sites, something you might want to try, get to know from other people, their experiences, and also get your very own experience. Up next, we have someone else who has been in the Airbnb site, and he continues to give people rooms and homes in that site. Let's hear from John Mwashigadi. And now we're joined by John Mwashigadi. He also does Airbnb right here in Nairobi. And so we continue with this conversation just to get to know what it entails for Kenyans. So John Mwashigadi, it's great to have you with us. Tell us, what is Airbnb all about?
It started as an air bed and breakfast, where these are two guys who wanted to book a hotel, but they couldn't find a place where they could find accommodation. So what happened, they just pulled their air beds and they went besides a riverside, and that's where they slept overnight. And they thought, why can't we start something like this? Probably have an experience and put it online. Maybe people will like it. And eventually, Airbnb started in 2008, and it has been doing well. It's marketing around 30 billion US dollars in terms of revenue. And the site has a traffic of 500,000 visitors. Okay. And so we were thinking of, if this works outside there, it has to work in Africa, and especially in Kenya. Because we find Kenya, for the last 2 years, we find there's so many visitors streaming in.
And not everyone would go take a hotel option. So this is definitely a newer option. Let me ask you, how long have you been in the industry and what have you been seeing so far?
We actually 6 months, and it has been a good ride in terms of we find people want half price from what is in the hotel and an experience to add on it. Currently, we have more visitors. They want to get into hotels, but they're saying hotels are so rigid, they're not getting enough services, so they want a home experience. We find the clients who come to us, they tell us, hey, I have this house, I don't have people to rent, and I've heard you guys doing Airbnb Nairobi, so how can I get clients from you? How does this work? So I tell the person, okay, we'll see the house. We'll see how to place it on our site, what kind of experience it fits our visitors. And then from there, we say, give us a month, we market the house for you, and we get the traffic, we rise on reviews, and then from there, we'll give you the house, you manage it on your own, as we give you clients, slowly by slowly.
Are you the people who put up these profiles for someone to just come up and say, okay, I'd like to do this and this? Do you create the profile for them, or do they create it by themselves?
It's an agreement. We can have the owner saying that, let me put it online, but we prefer doing it because now we know the niche and we understand how to bring the clients for the people. And so when the person gives us the homes, we do the marketing, we do photo shots. And from there, we market it and we pull the traffic because we already have other homes in our site. So it's easier to get clients from that site, from our side.
Have you experienced any horror stories?
Currently, we haven't experienced the negative side of having an Airbnb house because the host fears, hey guys, will I find my property damaged? Or my walls are written all over if there are kids involved. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you've experienced in this industry?
The challenges sometimes a tourist or a visitor will come and see the house and change their mind. Not telling you the reason. you rightly outlaid what was to be involved, but maybe she'll say, okay, I've booked, but I want to change it to some other place. So I say, so we have to do a change of everything, the profiling, changes of bookings, things like that.
You are trying to come up with ways to bring in the African culture, the Kenyan culture, so that
Yes.
people don't necessarily have to think about Airbnb since it's a
Yes.
westernized concept. Tell us about that. What's happening?
We have different tastes or preferences. We have visitors who would like to have a cuisine which has a Kenyan thing inside. We have visitors who want to have, let's say, something close to wildlife, and other tastes more like the ocean, the Indian Ocean. So that's how we try to fit in different preferences for the visitors.
Airbnb is a trend that is slowly catching up here in Kenya. It's a westernized concept, but it's something that you just might want to see for yourself. So go online, get to have that experience, tell your friends, or just make sure that you have the right information before you decide to choose this option. There's so much to learn from the internet online accommodation sites. You can go out and check them for yourselves. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Remember to talk to us on our social media platform, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, NTV Property Show. See you next Sunday. Take care and God bless.